You could have gone much longer than me by the looks of it.
Yep.
I need to sit down. Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben.
And I'm Kay.
And this is a Netflix original film called Oxygen.
A woman who wakes in a cryogenic chamber with no recollection of how she got there must find a way out before running out of air.
Mélanie Laurent, I think that's how you pronounce her name, is the main protagonist here. She plays Elizabeth, or Liz. Fun bit of trivia before we jump into the review. Anne Hathaway was originally up to play the lead, and that didn't pan out. And then we had Noomi Rapace, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She was going to play the lead, but because of the turmoil of this film, she then couldn't play the lead, and so she's now just an executive producer on the film. But as you can see, the lead role for this film has passed many hands.
It's really difficult to have a film that is set in one location with one actor with, I mean, not a lot happens actually because she's stuck in a cryogenic pod. So the person that you cast as your main protagonist, as your person in the pod, has to have the ability to maintain intensity and really capture your audience. And I think this actress did a brilliant job. I mean, you can compare it to Tom Hanks in Castaway. She really captured me the whole time. I think the issue that I had with it was the story didn't captivate me the whole way through. She did. I liked her. I was interested in her, but the story at times I lost interest. Yeah.
I mean, for me, there's been films like this, like the one called Buried with Ryan Reynolds. Similar, you're in very close proximity to your actor, so you have to have that screen presence. She has that in bundles.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have cast her otherwise, because otherwise people will be switching off like within minutes of the film.
Yeah.
The issue that I had with this film is that when you have a story like this, you expect there to be a massive reveal at the end. So sitting through it, and you're like, oh, what's happening? And then the big kind of reveal at the end. And that normally splits audiences. Like, yeah, I like that ending. Yeah, I didn't like that ending. Kind of how I felt about I Am Mother. Kind of reveals itself, and then you go, bam, this is what actually has happened. The thing with this story is, and without going into spoilers, is that it reveals itself in increments along the way. So by the time you get to the end, you already know everything. And then it leaves you with what's it expecting you to believe what has happened at the ending, and you're just to be going, huh.
Okay.
So there's no real like, oh, okay.
Crescendo.
Yeah. It just feels like it's already finished, and you could have finished the film 10 minutes before or a few minutes before. There are moments when we've discussed this, that they're like, that would have been a better ending to not have that quite finish as it has. But that's not to say there aren't really interesting things there, harking to other science fiction films like Space Odyssey 2001. The cryogenic pod has a voice. Milo, I think it's called. And that is one of the best things about the film. It's obviously just like robotic, analytical. There is no real... I don't think it's AI. I think it has a set parameters of what it answers and what it says and how much it can reveal. And her playing... the detective with Milo, trying to figure out who she is. She's like, the cryogenic has messed up her memory, trying to piece together the puzzle piece. For me, was the most interesting thing about the film. And like you said, when you get to the moments of when they reveal, we pretty much had guessed what was going on, except there were moments where we're like, oh, okay,
oh wow,
that's cool. But there were definitely moments where, like, we knew that was coming. We knew not to trust that bit of information. And saying that, so not spoilers, that over there somewhere. I really enjoyed it, but I was also somewhat frustrated by the end. So if they'd finished it like 5 minutes before...
I think I probably would have given a whole grade up if it had finished 5 minutes before. I was just going to say that actually it's beautifully shot, even though it's this one really tight little location. It's beautifully filmed. There are moments where the director is obviously trying to make us as the audience also feel the claustrophobia that she's feeling. And he uses intense close-ups. I mean, we like just lips, and we watched it on a really big screen, so it's like massive lips or eye or something. And it was just so well done. There was this one shot, it's so beautiful, where the pod basically just disappears slowly into darkness.
That stood out to me as well.
And it was just like, wow, it spoke volumes. So it's really cleverly filmed.
The creativity that there is, even though you're just in one pod space, is amazing. You know, apart from the close-up shots, when you start getting reveals, they mix in the close-up shots with the reveals, and that's good. I would say that what took me away from the storyline is the flashbacks. So the way from the intensity.
Yeah.
So we were always going to get flashbacks. That's just basically how you do this type of storyline. I would have liked some other way to maybe include it. There's this screen on the pod where she can find out bits of information. I think video sequences from there, her still doing the detective stuff, would have been better as flashbacks, because flashbacks really does take you out of it, and you're always waiting to get back to the pod.
Yeah.
And so that does slow the pacing. It's kind of like jarring a bit, but that's just like, I knew you were going to do that. How else were you going to tell the story, create that background for your character?
There were some emotional beats in this film that for some reason just didn't punch me in the gut, and I'm not sure why. I can't quite figure it out, so if you can figure it out, let me know in the comments below. But I just, like, there was one comment which I obviously can't say because it's a massive spoiler, but like the reason that she's in the pod and it didn't, I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
I would like to talk about spoilers, so I'm going to give my grade and we'll do it all in one video so you don't have to wait. So if you've seen this film and you want to talk about spoilers, we'll talk about it afterwards. But my grade for now is B-.
Okay. I would still give it a solid B.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So there we go. All right, so we're going to talk about spoilers, kind of explain the moments of the film for how we understood it. And yeah, let's jump into it.
Okay, so spoiler number one, big spoiler, is that there's only 2 generations of humans left on Earth. Like, the capacity, I don't know whether, because it was just a line that was like thrown out there, like, does that mean that the capacity of Earth cannot sustain more than 2 more generations? Or does it mean that there's something genetically wrong with human beings that means that we can no longer reproduce, so we're going to die out in the next 2 generations? I think it was that, because there was quite a lot of sort of genetic stuff going on in the film. And for some reason that just didn't hit me. It didn't make me feel anything. It was like, okay, so that's why they're doing what they're doing. But I felt like if there was maybe a bit more, I don't know, meaning behind that.
She's not alone. There's a few thousand
yeah, 10,000.
And the story reveals that she isn't she. She's a clone of she.
Yeah, she's not herself.
And so no one that is going to the new wolf planet actually is an original. They're starting a new generation of clones. I think that story would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Maybe a sequel from like 10,000 years later, what that society would have ended up being, you know, from clones and the technology they bring with them. I think the biggest kind of reveal, which I didn't like, was the ending of where we see our 2 main protagonists. Well, our main protagonist, Liz and Leo, on the planet Wolf. That's what we're led to believe, although you did suggest that it could be in her memory or her dream.
Could be her mind as she's gone into cryosleep.
Because she was seen things like mice and
rats.
Yeah, so her mind could totally have done that. I liked all the science stuff. I kind of believed it, you know, like if we did have that technology, I believe that could happen. The way that, you know, do you want an injection? What is it saying to you?
Would you like a sedative?
Would you like a sedative? No. No, I don't. Very much reminded me of Hal, actually, in Space Odyssey.
Yeah, it was quite amusing that he had to ask her if she wanted a sedative, but he could just euthanize her without her permission.
I liked how she thought just at the moment she was about to die, there's other oxygen tanks we could use. Light speed as well?
Oh, yeah, it was amazing.
Like,
I mean, I thought the ship was really cool.
When did we get that? Anyway, the landing sequence as well.
We don't really have cryo chambers for hypersleep either.
No,
so,
we can go into cryo for 8 hours, I think.
Suspend your disbelief.
Yeah, and the leaf design, I thought that was fantastic. I like the idea of that. Whether that would work, I don't know. But I like the idea of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know your kind of moments that stood out to you, kind of spoilers. Chat down below. Leave a
gap.
Spoiler thing with the ... And let us know if this was one of your most interesting ones, or did you also feel like us when we got to the end, we're like, fun to watch, but...
We got to this moment when we were like, we had 55 minutes to go, and we like checked to see how far we were in the movie, and we were like, what? 55 minutes still? What on earth are they going to do?
Yeah.
Because it felt like we'd like
felt like that was the
movie.
story. Yeah. And then we're like, oh, now that they're going to do this. Yeah. Okay. All right. Enough waffling.
Yep.
Chat to us in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching this review and spoiler review. But most of all, until next time, remember,
live long and Tuesday.
Breathe like I need oxygen.
You do.